the New York City Clean Heat program, and I am joined by Isabel Silverman from the Environmental Defense Fund. And we will be beginning this presentation in just a moment. Just a little housekeeping here. If anybody is having any sort of technical difficulties, please call 212-656-9202. That's 212-656-9202. Or you can email us at info@nyc.gov. Again, I put everyone on mute for the duration of the call, so we don't have any feedback in the background. But I will open up the floor for any questions. And as I previously stated, there is a Q&A box at the top. At the top of your screen, there's a tab that's called Q&A, and you can type in a question in there as well if you prefer it that way. So with that said, I will begin the presentation. Again, this is the New York City Clean Heat Workshop, The Road to Cleaner Air, this heating season webinar. With that, I'll give it to Isabel from EDF.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm going to start out with a little bit of the history behind this effort to phase out heavy oils in New York City. So it started on two fronts. New York City came out with its sustainability plan in 2007, and then an updated one in 2011. And it focuses on air quality, energy, and climate change. The efforts of NYC Clean Heat and the phase out of the heavy heating oils fits in within the air quality chapter of the sustainability plan. And the goal is to achieve the cleanest air of any big U.S. city here in New York City. Right now, the air in New York City is actually not healthy to breathe in. We are above federal health-based air quality standards, and those air quality standards are supposed to be tightened and actually made stricter, which means we would not meet those even more so. So it's very important that we are reducing air pollution for our health, not just for the environment, but this is actually really a health-based program. Here we're on the next slide. There's a lot on this slide, but if you look on the right side on the map of New York City and you see dark brown, the darker the brown those spots are, the more air pollution there is, and that's particularly soot pollution. It's those black particles that you see coming out of chimneys or that you are seeing coming out of trucks, and you can also smell them when you walk behind a truck or a bus. And you can see how alongside the major roads you see darker brown. That's, of course, because of traffic. And then what you also see is where you have those light blue dots, which are the buildings that are burning the heavy oil, number 6 oil. The number 4 oil buildings are actually not on here, but just the 6 oil buildings. You see that there is actually a correlation between the number of buildings burning the heavy oil, the highly polluting number 6 oil, and the darker the brown areas are, and the more they are of those. So you see, for example, Midtown, Downtown, Upper West Side, Upper East Side, and the Bronx, all and Washington Heights, all have a lot of dark brown areas, and it correlates with the number of boilers using number 6 oil. The study that the city came out with showed that the air pollution we're breathing in here is mainly dominated by traffic and buildings burning heavy heating oil. So if we can get rid of these buildings burning the heavy heating oil, not the building itself, but the source of oil and the oil they are burning, that will go a long way in cleaning up our air in the city. So we are about 30% above where we should be in soot pollution levels. And as I just stated, the good news is that we can reduce this type of air pollution by switching to cleaner heating fuel. And the health impact impacts are tremendous. We know that soot pollution alone causes over 3,000 premature deaths in the city, 2,000 hospitalizations for lung and heart conditions, 6,000 emergency room visits for asthma in children and adults. So this pollution really does matter and does have a health effect, and many studies show this. So now we're going to the next slide. So Environmental Defense Fund started working on this 4.5 years ago. It really started quite simply by looking out of the window, seeing the black smoke billowing out of certain chimneys, wondering why is this happening. We found out it's the heavy oil. And here on this slide on the right side, you can see a picture of the heavy oil. The 6 oil is the most polluting oil, and this vial is actually only a quarter full. So what it shows us is it's so sludgy and thick that it actually coats the walls of these vials. And it would have to stand there for about 5 hours to come down a little bit. So it doesn't need a rocket scientist to understand that burning this stuff is not healthy and is polluting the air. Then the 4 oil is a mixture of the 2 oil and the 6 oil. You can see it, it's a little bit more liquidy. The walls of the vials are not coated quite as much. And the 2 oil on the very left is the cleanest burning heating fuel. Like Luke will talk later, it will be even cleaner if you mix it with biodiesel. It has a red dye added to it for tax purposes, and that's why it's red. But that's a real liquid, the number 2 oil. And then, so what EDF achieved is a new regulation that the Department of Environmental Protection came out with last year. It started kicking in this July 2015, where every building burning number 6 oil whose permit expires needs to switch to at least number 4 heating oil. So it's not just 2015 like some people think. It's actually when your permit expires. So some buildings already had their permit expire, let's say in October. They had to switch already. So check when your permit is expiring if you're burning 6 oil, and that's the date you have to switch to at least number 4 oil. But we actually recommend that you skip the switch to number 4 oil, because number 4 oil is really just an interim fuel. It's still a highly polluting heating oil, and it's much better to go all the way to number 2 oil, natural gas or biodiesel. So now the 6 oil will be phased out between July 2012 and July 2015, and then we are left with number 4 oil buildings. Those number 4 oil buildings have to switch to number 2 oil or natural gas when they replace their boiler or burner. So that can be any time. When a number 4 oil building, let's say the burner breaks, it has to be replaced, that means they have to switch heating fuel. The sunset date is 2030, but that's in case you'd never have to switch your boiler and burner between now and 2030. Most buildings will have to switch equipment, and so it's much better to be prepared and just switch now all the way, so you're in full compliance with the new law. So that's what this slide is showing. And now I'm going to hand it over to Luke. And the Environmental Defense Fund has worked with the City of New York on establishing a program that will help buildings convert to the cleaner heating fuels in the most efficient and cost-effective way. That program is called NYC Clean Heat program, and we encourage every building to contact us, ask questions, and work with us so we can all breathe cleaner air as soon as possible. So now I'm handing it over to Luke.
Thank you, Isabel. So as Isabel mentioned, she gave us a great background as to where the regulations came from, and now I'll dive right into what the program is about. So it's a, as Isabel said, it's a program launched by the mayor's office in response to this new regulation to basically provide assistance to buildings that are impacted by this new regulation, meaning any building burning heavy fuel or number 6 or number 4. We provide technical assistance to any building that needs it, and also financial assistance. So that we, myself, along with our colleagues here at the program, will walk you through the conversion process and will help you basically begin anywhere where you need help. We will pick up and guide you through the process of conversion. There are a lot of there are a lot of programs out there, but this is the program that's represented. But it represents the city of New York and the way we want you to do it. We provide financial assistance as well. Some buildings that may require some significant construction costs in relation to the conversion process can reach out to us. And we work with a number of financial partners, which I will go into later on, that will provide some sort of financing platforms to assist you with the conversion process. We also have a website. It's nyc.gov/clean heat. There is a whole, there are many resources for you with the regulations, the incentives available, which I will go into later. And something very, very interesting that we have developed along with the city and the DEP data that we work with is the Spot the Soot map. The Spot the Soot map is a great tool for anyone that would like to simply check if their building or their neighbor's building or any building for that matter in the 5 boroughs is burning any of these heavier fuels. It's a little hard to see on the bottom, but basically there is a legend and all the red dots there on that right side of the page are the number 6 buildings. The orange ones are number 4 buildings. So it's very easy to log on to our website, type in your address, and see if your building is burning a heavier fuel, and if it is, you will need to convert it. And and for that reason, we have this program here established. So you can contact us at any time. Our email is info@NYC Clean Heat, or you can always call 311 and simply ask for the New York City Clean Heat program, and you will be directed to one of our account managers working with us. So the way the program goals have been established is this program is quantified by the amount of particulate matter, or PM2.5, that we reduce from buildings. As Isabel went into earlier, the particulate matter has some severe health impacts, particularly with respiratory health, and it can be easily reduced by taking out the heavy fuels, the heavy burning oils from New York City, and it will tremendously reduce that PM2.5. So the goal of the program is to actually reduce the PM2.5 by 50% from heavy oil buildings or from heavy burning oil by the end of 2013. Very aggressive goal, and as you can see, we're about 115 of the 370, which puts us just about above 30% of our ultimate goal. And the measure, the dashboard, the gauge on the right side shows the buildings in our pipeline. We will need a little bit more buildings in our pipeline. Basically, we want to work with as many buildings as possible, so we encourage everyone to get their buildings lists over to us, and we will evaluate them based on your permit expiration dates, your availability of each commodity, and that's how we provide assistance to buildings. Once we have a contact for a building, a property manager or an owner or contact, we will begin to work with you, and that's how we quantify the pipeline, which is very important for us because it's the way that buildings know about the program. And we, like I said, we encourage as many buildings to work with us as possible. It's a win-win situation. So the Clean Heat program is something very important to us. Is the Clean Heat program is a fuel neutral program. We don't promote any particular fuel. we only encourage you to convert to the cleanest available option. Meaning we definitely do not want you to burn number 6 because with the new regulation, it will be, it will be illegal to burn number 6. But also we encourage you to not burn number 4 because it's only a stopgap measure, as Isabel mentioned before. We encourage everyone to go to either number 2 oil, which is now called Clean 2 because of some of the ultra-low sulfur regulations, biodiesel, natural gas, steam, or any other alternatives that may be available to you in your particular area. So very important for us. We are fuel neutral, but we will work with you with whichever fuel you are thinking about, and we will gladly compare any of the available options to you. So the first thing that has to be done if you're thinking about the conversion process, if you are a number 6 or a number 4 heating oil building, you have to figure out what your boiler and burner, has it exceeded its useful life, the condition of your equipment, the burner, the boiler specifically, whether or not your burner is capable of burning number 2 or natural gas. Most cases, building burners are capable of burning both fuels. They're usually a dual fuel system. And what your fuel oil storage situation. Some tanks become basically outdated and have exceeded their useful life. Sometimes you need to replace them. We're working with very old buildings, so there are different scenarios and different setups in each building. So you have to basically just see what your situation is, and we'll help you figure out the best available options to you. There are some issues with environmental regulations when storage tanks are sitting on the dirt or in a vault. One other important thing is chimney lining. If you are converting to natural gas, some buildings will be required to line their chimney. That's a Department of Buildings requirement. So these are all issues. These are the technical issues that I mentioned earlier that the Clean Heat staff would gladly help you, or any of your clients or partners, for that matter, with this process. So the next step, I'll just start going in. One of the available options is to convert to natural gas. The natural gas conversion process can take anywhere from 6 to 9 months, estimated. Sometimes it takes longer. So it's a longer process. And it all starts with, basically, we encourage everyone to contact us first. We'll help you figure out what needs to be done. We'll provide you the initial kind of first phase free consulting, basically, that the city offers to you. We'll help you determine, what needs to be done to obtain your conversion costs. We'll help you calculate your savings and payback. And, we'll obviously encourage any property manager, engineer, or energy manager to help, to jump in right there during that process to help you do the same. And, you have to then submit your application to either National Grid or Con Ed, depending on where you live within the 5 boroughs. The 2 utilities have different regions in the boroughs. And as with all the projects, you should consider efficiency measures, get the necessary contractor and the permits, and the construction costs are usually the deciding factor. So that's kind of a quick rundown of converting to gas. While we're on natural gas, I just wanted to quickly mention the Con Ed area growth plan is now in effect. Actually, the first deadlines to apply to this program are coming up very soon. So we encourage everyone that is seeking to or looking into converting to natural gas to please visit the Con Ed website and to email us or to call us and to begin the process if you'd be interested. Just a quick rundown of the growth zone plan. Basically, you will have to go through various steps in order to participate in the program, and this will get you on course to basically getting natural gas in your building for the next heating season. And I will gladly go into this in more detail with anyone that is on the line, on the call right now, that's interested. I just, for the purposes of this presentation, I'd like to just quickly go over this. Again, this is the area growth zone. These are the deadlines. The first, obviously, very quick. The first deadline is on December 14th. Some people it may still be possible for some to sign up, so we encourage you, if you are in any of these zones, please visit the website, visit the Con Ed website and get in touch with us, most importantly, because we will help you, to figure out whether or not it's still possible to sign up, and we'll help you expedite the process. Again, there are 3 deadlines we're working with. These are basically the Con Ed growth zones are what Con Ed has proposed to invest in their infrastructure for the next heating season. So all the shaded areas on these Manhattan and Bronx maps are different phases of where Con Ed is offering people to sign up for a group rate. So if you previously received high costs from Con Ed in order to bring gas to your particular building, this may be one way out of it, or at least it may help to significantly reduce those costs. So please get in touch with us if you're interested. The other really popular fuel that we promote here is the Clean 2, which is just number 2 fuel oil. Oil-to-oil conversions actually require a lot less time than natural gas conversions because of basically there is less construction that needs to be done. Again, the process, very similar. We encourage you to contact us first. We will help you to understand why ultra-low sulfur number 2 or Clean 2 is the way to go. If you're having any sort of doubts as to why we promote 2 as opposed to number 4, Isabel touched on it before, that it's definitely a lot cleaner, but we also have proven with case studies and some calculators that we've developed that it actually comes out even to the cost of number 4 when you consider all the efficiencies and everything else that goes into a conversion. So again, we encourage you to contact the Clean Heat program, determine your internal costs. You shop for a supplier of the fuel, and as with everything that we promote in number 2, we definitely think that you should consider biofuel as a blend. This will help you with some of the commodity price differences, especially because there's a tax credit right now available for incorporating a biodiesel into your blend, and I'll go into that a little bit later also. Understanding your operating costs, your boiler maintenance, and definitely incorporate energy efficiency measures and the tax credits, as I just mentioned. So these are all things that we encourage you to do, and again, the Clean Heat team can guide you through the process, whether you're an owner or on your board and just considering this, or you're a contractor or an energy manager, anyone that has clients going through this process. We encourage you to get in touch with us, and it'll help everyone. So, as I said, number 4 oil is slightly cheaper than number 2, but there are a number of efficiencies, and this is some of the stuff that goes into our calculator that you gain in burning a cleaner fuel in your system. Basically, here on the right side, you can see the boiler tubes that have been blocked up with soot, and this is what basically causes a lot of the inefficiencies with burning the heavier number 6 and number 4 fuel oils. They block the exchange of the heat, which makes your system a lot less efficient. You actually end up burning a lot more of the fuel, and you also end up spewing a lot of the pollution up into the atmosphere, and for our neighbors to breathe. So we encourage you to look past the small commodity difference. And we'll gladly walk you through each particular case. Each building is different, each case is different. So we encourage you to get in touch with us. Cleaner fuels, basically provide us with the cleaner air to breathe, and it reduces maintenance costs. So if you're cleaning your boiler out many times a year, this is one way to reduce a cost, and also to reduce the burden on your staff and on your building, on your equipment. So please get in touch with us again to learn more about how and why we encourage Clean 2. Available financing. So this is part of the Clean Heat program. In addition to the technical consulting and assistance that we provide, there's also a financing aspect. We work with many financial partners that have been vetted and gone through our system that will basically work with you to provide you with the capital necessary for your conversion, whether you're going to number 2 oil or whether you're going to natural gas. We have partners that will work with you to help you with the process, especially if you don't have the funds or the reserves necessary for the conversion process. A lot of times, we hear about people not saying they don't have the money to do their conversion. Well, this is what these financial partners are here for. They will front the money for any project, and simply get their money back from the savings that you will be getting in the next few years, based on the commodity differences. As with natural gas, it's a lot cheaper, or with the efficiency differences, because obviously we encourage energy efficiency measures to be taken into consideration when doing any of the conversions. So just something to highlight here, NYC, New York City Energy Efficiency Corporation, they're the big provider and backer of finances. Also, obviously, NYC is a great, is a great entity to reach out to get some grants and some benefits from energy efficiency measures that can be coupled with the conversion of away from number 6 and 4 heating oil systems. Here I'll just go into NYC again, the New York City Energy Efficiency Corporation. It's part of the NYC Clean Heat program. They originate loans, and they will also back loans for anyone that has some trouble getting finances for their project. And of course, we also have some really good programs when it comes to leasing. We've developed some programs that will help buildings to lease equipment such as tanks and boilers. As I talked about before, sometimes, especially when converting to number 2 oil, there are tank issues. Boilers need to be replaced. This is all, a financial burden on some buildings. So NYC comes in here and helps us with with these issues to provide the money for the upfront costs. Again, I mentioned this again. I mentioned this in the past, but we encourage everyone to look at not only the phasing out of number 4 and number 6, which is basically tied into Local Law 43, but there are a number of other local laws that have come into play in the last few years and and will be in effect in the coming years. So we encourage everyone to look at all of these local laws together, because it may pay off to do everything at once. Some buildings find that taking out loans for the conversion, as well as for the benchmarking Local Law 84 or for Local Law 87 together, coupling those three into one big package can save a lot of money in many different ways. So we encourage everyone to look at these laws together at the same time, and consider the energy efficiency measures. With our program, number 4 and 6 heating oils have to be phased out, but energy efficiency isn't necessarily part of the law. That's where the other laws come into play, but we encourage everyone to group them together, and because this will also provide you with added assistance. For example, the NYC multifamily performance program, there are many incentives available to multifamily buildings if they do their conversion away from 6 and 4 heating oil and put that together with the energy efficiency, whether a retro commissioning process. It will provide extra money for the building to maybe get more environmentally conscious measures put into the building. So these are all great tools that should be looked at, and you can look at our website for all this information. It's nyc.gov /content/incentives. There you will also find our biodiesel tax credit, which I previously mentioned. So basically, when you are burning a number 2 oil, you can, through 2016, apply for a penny per percent of biodiesel that's in your number 2, up to 20%. So a B20 means that's a 20% biodiesel compared to 80% number 2 oil. For a B20, you can get up to 20 cents back on your as a tax rebate at the end of the year. So it's 20 cents back on that gallon that you spent for the blend. So it's actually a great incentive. 20 cents per gallon is a nice return at the end of the year. And again, this is something that will help us to get the 2 commodities, number 4 and number 2, closer together, and basically, make converting to number 4 basically not make that much financial sense, but make a lot of environmental and efficiency sense. So please consider that in your conversion process. Just a quick study, case study of a building that we've come across. This is an example of how much, careful planning and coupling all these energy efficiency measures together, and some of the local laws can provide a very quick payback to buildings, especially to large buildings. So this is a building in Upper Manhattan, almost 500,000 square feet, 5 buildings. They were converting from number 6 oil to number 2. And, in addition to the conversion, which was required by law, they also did the retro commissioning. They installed additional energy efficiency measures such as temperature controls, and filtration improvements, other light improvements. And because they were able to take advantage of this, they went through NYC through the multifamily performance program and received a lot of incentives. As you can see, almost $250,000 for that, and their payback was only 1.6 years. That's a home run. Obviously, we see a lot of these. So there are great ways to put a solid plan together that will benefit everyone. So please take advantage of all the tools available to you. Get in touch with us, and we will gladly help you out with your particular project. So again, I'll come back to the Clean Heat team again. being in touch with us will ensure that you're connected to all the technical and financial resources that are available to you for free. A successful conversion depends on many things, but one of the most important things when you get in touch with us is figuring out what your commodity options are. So because we work very closely with the utilities, and we know where certain fuels are available or not, we will help you determine what your best option to convert is. So if you're burning number 6 or 4, and your triennials or your permits to burn are expiring, you need to convert regardless. And getting in touch with us will help you to establish and figure out what fuel I should use, what's available to me, when is my permit expiring. Also, we can help you with that. We can talk to you about your current system. We can talk to you about the providers, the fuel providers that are available, the costs and the time frames that will be necessary with each of the fuels. And then once you're in touch with us, you will be the first to know about any new incentives and any new programs that are available, such as the Con Ed area growth zone that I mentioned. We have other oil, number 6 to number 2 oil programs that are very that provide some added bonuses and incentives to working with us. So we encourage you to contact us. Again, our contact info is 311. Just dial 311, ask for the Clean Heat program, or you can email us at info@nyc.cleanheat.org. So with that, we have a few minutes remaining. I will now open up the phone lines to any questions. But before I do that, let me just quickly take a look at some of the Q&A. Again, there's a Q&A box tab on the top of the screen. It's Q&A. I have one question in here so far. Someone asked if we can get a copy of the slideshow. Absolutely. Please email us info@nyc.cleanheat.org, and we will gladly send you a copy of this presentation. And to anyone on the call that's interested in seeing this again, absolutely email us anytime. So with that, I will open up the phone call here for anyone that has a question. Bear with me one second.
All guests have been unmuted.
Okay, so everyone's unmuted. And have a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.